Hi everybody, and welcome to another episode of Take Two. We're coming to you live from the Ascend 2026 conference, where I am here with another one of our incredible customers, first-time presenter, knocked it out of the park, came dressed to the max, and we could not be more proud of the incredible success story of HDR and how they've modernized and automated their expense reporting. So here we wanted to catch up with Dan and have him tell us a little bit more. So when you guys started out with your kind of digital iExpense journey, like what were the main challenges you were trying to solve?
One of our main challenges that we were trying to solve is modernizing our expense report. We were still using old processes. We didn't have a mobile solution that was agnostic between all the different operating systems. So we wanted something that could give our employee something, ease of use, something more intuitive, and the ability to make their expense reports anywhere when they're out in the field, when they're not in the office. So just give them a more flexibility and ease of entering expense reports.
Right. That's incredible. I know the whole expense reporting world was on the top of everybody's mind, and then COVID hit and everybody's like, nah, no one's going anywhere. Yeah. And then 2 minutes later, everything kind of the weight of COVID lifted, and then everybody's like, what are you talking about that we need to sit at a desktop to do an expense report? Like, when am I ever at a desktop having lunch with somebody or taking a taxi, right? So
exactly.
Yeah.
With travel picking back up after COVID, a lot of things change. Receipts are coming through in emails now.
Wow.
You're not getting paper receipts anymore. And the ease of use of just having a mobile device. Everybody has a mobile device nowadays. Nobody's at their desk. And just capturing that information real time instead of waiting, losing receipts, it just gives our employees more power to enter their expense report timely, more efficiently, more accurately. So that was something we really was challenged to try to find a solution for our employees.
Well, fun fact, I would never have been in IT if there was no such thing as expense reporting. My first job, I was actually a babysitter, watching kids. And then one day the dad comes and says, what are you doing? I said, I'm studying for my math. I came the next day, he goes, what'd you get on your math test? I said, 100. He goes, okay, now you're my bookkeeper. He brings me down to the basement. He has 3 full garbage bags of receipts. He says, this is 2004, 5. I was like, excuse me? He said, I'm being audited. We have to now enter all of these receipts into, at the time it was like an Excel spread. No, at the time he was trying to get me to put them in this ledger. He had this giant ledger, and he's like, we have to put all the, I am like, I learned Excel. I'm going to put it at least minimum in Excel. But I definitely know that feeling. And the funniest thing is we're not so far off from that, right? I know in a lot of organizations, admin assistants are still typing in people's receipts.
They are. It should not be difficult to enter expense reports. But it is important to the business to capture your costs. It goes against your financials, so it's important. But our employees are chargeable employees on delivery projects. They cannot spend that much time that they can charge to our clients to enter expense reports that should only take you a couple minutes to enter in.
Right. You're like losing billable hours.
Correct.
By people trying to get back from their billables. Yeah, so like you started talking a little bit about it. What was the impact really for your end users, for your business, for your management?
The end was the acceptability of the expense report, the reduction of errors in expense reports, the reductions of tickets for questions about expense report. An expense report should be intuitive to an employee. We shouldn't have 2-3 different job aids just to teach somebody how to enter an expense report. It should be intuitive enough that they should be able to enter it in without getting a certification to enter an expense report.
That's the funniest thing that he was saying in his session. He's like, well, we had the trainers who train people on the desktop, and then the people who were training people on the Android, and then the iOS. I mean, how could you have it that you don't have a common interface? So yeah, I can't imagine what that must have been like before.
Yeah, and one of the benefits with AuraPlayer is that ease. The hardest thing to do is make something simple, make
Right.
something intuitive. There's a lot of thought between every little button, every little field, every little action. And working with the AuraPlayer helped with that ease, and we were able to accomplish that with the mobile app.
And it was really funny. I remember the conversations at first with your team, and they're like, well, do you support all the fields? I'm like, why do you want all the fields? And then they're like, do you support all the tabs? I'm like, there's 100 tabs. You want 100 tabs? So it was kind of this really funny thing where I was trying to, on the one hand, convince you, like, anything that exists in EBS you could have, but why on earth would you want to have, right? And like, it was opposite. I was like, which fields could we do away with? Which tabs do we not need, right? How do we pare this down super sleek, just what people need in the field to be able to do it? And then, of course, the best part is it's completely synchronized.
Yeah.
You save it on your mobile. If you want to then go into eBusiness Suite and fill out the other 850 fields,
Yep.
like, go right on ahead, right?
Exactly. We simplified the field. We got rid of fields that we did not need. It just, the ease of use was enormous. I can't say more than enough that what you guys helped us accomplish with this project, and it's been a fresh of breath air.
You were designing it, so thank you for giving us all the credit. But basically, our only help was, are you sure you need all the fields?
Yeah.
But what was really incredible was that you really had several stages, right? So you had like, what is Stan's view and kind of what he thinks. Then he would give it to his upper level manager, Gagan, who's also here at the conference with us somewhere. But Gagan actually had it on his phone, and he was like, oh, this is great, this is not great, this would be better, this would be... and it was really like having a live QA as you were going through the process because of that synchronization. We didn't need like a cutoff date and,
Yep.
to move everything over. So it was really incredible to see you guys really take ownership of the business process and do it, with that functional aspect so built in.
Yeah, we got that real-time feedback from our end users. We first rolled it out in a pilot group with the top 20 employees that submitted the expense report the most. And that's where we got most of the feedback. That's where they said, why do we need this field? Why do we need to do this? And it was an art of possibility. Once they got into it and we started making the changes, they saw what AuraPlayer can do and what they would be able to accomplish with just having that idea, having those discussions, and we were able to meet most of their needs.
And now poor Thanan's drinking from a fire hose of Excels upon Excels of things that people are thinking of doing. Hey, let's add credit card. Oh, let's add AuraPlayer's AI module to scan in the receipts. He really needs a vacation after a send.
Exactly.
To get prepped up. But what would you say? It's really interesting. A lot of our sessions, people have been coming up to us and saying, wow, that's incredible, but, how do I convince my management? How do I get management buy-in? And we were here having a session with Cinch, and they basically said, there is this barrier to entry, this kind of fear of just, if they could just see one thing that would tip them over the edge for modernization, they would move forward. So what would you recommend to people starting on their journey?
Starting on their journey, I would recommend to get their requirements. What are their barriers of execution? What are their pain points? With AuraPlayer, we're not ripping out the expense report module. We're using iExpense. We're using that as the backbone. This is just an enhancement, a tool on top of it. And then we're just refining it and making it a lot easier. We're using the system functionality which integrates throughout EBS. So we're not having those complications with other third-party applications. So this just sits on top, which made it a lot easier to install.
Right. So that's amazing. So I'm not lying when I say no risk. You're not making. See, he's making me not a liar. We love that. But basically, that's kind of where AuraPlayer was born from, right?
Yeah.
you have this 2 decades old investment in technology. How do we figure out a way to move it forward? And even more so now where, who knows what's going to be in 3 years? People can't afford to take their e-business suite, start doing a 4-year migration project when every 6 months AI changes the entire landscape, right?
Correct.
It could be that in 4 years there'll be no SaaS systems, right? It'll only be chat client with, back-end systems. So it's incredible that you guys were able to really leverage your existing investment with a new next generation front end and still have things modernized to come. So what was your number one takeaway? What's something interesting or surprising you learned this week?
The number one takeaway from Ascend, I feel, is the community. It's you're able to bounce ideas off of each other's experience, what they find and was able to accomplish, what issues they were able to resolve. So it was a good experience to be able to listen to other people with the same issues and how they overcame those barriers.
That's amazing. Is this your first time here?
This is my first time at Ascend.
Well, we're so happy you were able to join us and especially talk about your incredible success modernizing your Oracle iExpense with AuraPlayer solution and Oracle e-business suites. And like we said, we're definitely looking forward to the next generation, like with anything that comes forward. So thank you all so much for joining me on this episode of Take Two, live from Ascend 2026. And thank you so much, HDR, for joining us and for being such an incredible partner. We'll see you all soon.